In my opinion, kind of narcissism and sadism go hand in hand. And so there may be other ways that people get to sadism or sadistic behavior, but I think when we think of narcissism, there's an inherently sadistic component to it. To understand narcissism and how they operate, you kind of have to understand narcissistic supply. And that the extraction of narcissistic supply from their relationships is kind of this hidden motivation, whereas, normal human beings, whatever that means, are seeking connection from other people within the relationship space, that the relationship space is shared, right? It's a shared space of mutual connection. To a narcissist, they don't share spaces and they don't seek connection, they seek supply, right? And so they're seeking supply, which comes in the form of them feeling powerful and in control. And so they can feel powerful and in control when people are feeding their grandiosity, when people are reinforcing their grandiose false self, when people are basically buying their bullshit and allowing themselves to be pulled into the narcissist's inverted reality. But they can also get supply. They can also feel powerful and in control by inflicting pain on people, specifically people that penetrate their grandiose false self, that tell the truth to them. The narcissist sees in black and white. So you're either kind of like a useful idiot for them, somebody that reinforces all their bullshit, or you become what's called a persecutory object, something that they're subconsciously compelled to tear down, to destroy, right? And then they feel powerful and in control by inflicting emotional or physical pain on the persecutory object. And so I see sadism in a lot of this. I mean, we would call it malignant narcissism, but I think, true pathological narcissism, which to me is something very different than what the DSM defines, I think they kind of cycle through the different forms of narcissism more than we really think, that we put narcissism into like this covert narcissist, malignant narcissist. There's all these different flavors of narcissism, but to me, the true pathological narcissism is a container that houses all of that behavior, depending on the situations, that their behavior towards people depends on the nature of the relationship they're having with that person. And so the sadistic supply would come as a form of power and control, but also kind of revenge in a certain way. That they also weaponize victimhood, which seems confusing, but victimhood holds power in our culture. And so they can feel powerful and in control by weaponizing victimhood. That's why you see them in this crazy cycle between grandiosity and victimhood, this seamless cycle where they're projecting this grandiose version and then reverting to victimhood. And so, I don't think it's the only way you can get to sadistic behavior, but I think it definitely overlaps.